And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. Period. All of these, all lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
This is the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
And I'm D White.
Thank you for those that are tuning in today. Today, we have a special edition of the new party. We're going to start a two-part series on the real Kamala Harris. This is so important to us as a people. I mean, this is monumental. Either way we look at it, I am happy to say as a Black woman that we have our first Black woman nominee for president in a major election cycle. So I will say, I don't want to take from that. Commends to that happening. I'm glad that we finally opened the door for that. However, Kamala Harris is not who should be our first Black female president. And today we're going to tell you why. As a first generation American, I have more in common with Kamala Harris than most Black people do in this country. Like her, I am half Jamaican. However, I'm half Moroccan as well, for those of you who do not know. So as a fellow Jamaican, I'm so proud that we have someone in this position. However, again, she has nothing in common with me and most Black people in this country. We're going to examine who she is as a person and her character. Dee, is there anything you want to say before we start the clips as part of the intro?
Yes, I'm glad. I'm also glad for identity reasons that some little Black girl somewhere could see this and dream to be in a position like her. Unfortunately, Kamala does not deserve it. She did not win it fair. She was shoehorned in because the last president, he's not capable of doing a job anymore. She hasn't got not one single primary voter. No one has voted for Kamala. They're just anointing her, and I think it's going to end up bad. But let's roll the clips. Let's roll the clips. We'll come back to that later.
Gray, is there something you'd like to say in the intro? We want to give you a chance to speak before we start.
Is she officially the nominee? Is it official?
Last night, it was announced that she will have enough delegates to proceed forward for them to formally make her the nominee for the Democratic Party at the Democratic National Convention less than a month away in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm with D White. Let's roll the clips.
All right, let's roll the clips.
My mother would tell a funny story about how, like, one day and I was fussing and so I'm fussing and fussing. It's much cuter when she would tell the story, but she'd say, so then she would look down at me and, Kamala, what do you want? What do you want? And I looked back up at her and I said, freedom. And then my mother.
Now, for those of you who do not know, the relevance of this clip is Kamala Harris has basically plagiarized a story that was told by Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King told a story in the 60s about a little girl that looked up and said freedom. However, she has plagiarized the story and she has retold it many times. Dee, as someone who is an ADOS, an African descendant of slaves in this country, how does that feel for you to see that she has plagiarized that story?
To me, it really upsets me that she likes to cosplay a Black person when it's convenient for her. She went to a bunch of Black schools, she used the education system and got grants and loans, for African American people, which I don't really have a problem with that. The only problem I have is that she's not part of the Black culture. Everybody's free to love who they want to love. She doesn't have a Black husband. She doesn't have Black kids. She doesn't traditionally care about a lot of things that Black people care about, and she pretends like she cosplays a Black woman when it's convenient. Just like that story she told. She was Black when she needed to be right then, and I just personally it bothers me, and I don't like it.
I'll say that the joke is a little outdated. I'm not a comedy expert, but I didn't think it was funny. I don't know what show that is, but there's so many things that Martin Luther King has said that. Go ahead.
I was just saying, this was the clip of the story that she plagiarized. It was in a Playboy interview. He said, "I will never forget a moment in Birmingham when a white policeman accosted a little Negro girl, 7 or 8 years old, who was walking in a demonstration with her mother. 'What do you want?' the policeman asked her. And the little girl looked up and said, 'Feed 'em.'" Continue. I'm sorry. I just wanted to show them the clip.
It's just so many things that Martin Luther King has said that probably should be repeated, as far as like income inequality. I know he was trying to push that after he got a lot of the civil rights stuff passed with Lyndon B. Johnson. So her saying the freedom joke, I just think it's just outdated, and I just didn't think it was funny in the context of being funny. What do you think?
I think it's offensive. I'm not ADOS like you gentlemen are. The two men that we have on the line, the two brothers are both African descendants of slaves, but I would never pretend to be. I would never say I am. I'm proud of my Jamaican heritage. I'm proud of being half Moroccan. I identify as a Black woman, as I think Kamala Harris does. We've had debates on this on other channels on who should be Black and who shouldn't be. If you're interested in hearing our debate, check out our Amber Rose video. But I don't think we should mince words and pretend like we're something when we're not. We should still be proud of our heritage. I think it's funny that she never talks about being half Indian. I mean, it's very interesting to me that they only talk about her being, calling her Black American, or when she technically isn't. She came from Jamaican descendants and came from an Indian background. Gray, do you agree with that? I see you want to say.
I want to answer that with a question. Do you consider Barack Obama white?
No, absolutely not.
His mother's white. The people that raised him were white. His grandparents were white.
That brings us to another discussion that we can have on another day. But sticking with Kamala Harris, I feel like she panders to Black people. Panders. And I think it's insulting that the only reason why she is in this role is because she says she's Black. We don't talk about what she's done to deserve to be in a role. And I think it's insulting to Black people. Dee, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's crazy that someone can just simply check off one simple box by race. Well, not really race in this case, or skin color, because
Right.
A lot of people might disagree with me, and I'm fine with that. You know, D. White said this, no one else. Kamala Harris is not Black. She's not Black. Anybody who feels that what I said was wrong, please direct all the hate back towards me, because I was the only one who said that. I'll
It looks like we lost D. White.
Well, I'm going to go into the next clip while we wait for him. Are you okay with that, Gray?
Yeah.
Let me slide into the next clip. Let's watch former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, and we'll talk about who he is after we watch this clip.
Stretched it out for 3 weeks. And every day there was a question, is something happening that makes sense on this issue? And then suddenly on Sunday, midday, it's all gone. Now you have to do a real story.
Is it historic?
It is historic. Of course it is. And everybody wants desperately to be a part of it. And it will be even more historic when it turns out to, in fact, been Biden offering the torch to his designated successor, Kamala Harris.
Should Kamala Harris be in charge of the ticket now?
Kamala Harris will be in charge of the ticket. She is probably the one person that can beat Trump. And the goal of Democrats, in spite of their antics in the last 3 weeks, have been to beat Trump.
Where do we go?
Now, for those of you who do not know, that is Willie Brown. He is the former San Francisco mayor, and he gave Kamala Harris the start to her career. Not only did he give her the start and put her in multiple positions, which we'll get into, he allegedly had an affair with her for many years while he was married. Allegedly, he purchased her first BMW. Allegedly, he is the one that was behind all of her positions. Dee, what do you think of that, and what have you heard about him before with her?
Yeah, I would also like to start off using the word alleged for everything that's going to follow this, because I was not there. and I didn't witness it, but allegedly, she was known even back from her days as a fraternity girl to be a very friendly young lady with the men. They say that she, not my word, she slept her way to power. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't there. This is just what all the powers that be are saying. You know, people who were there, people who are familiar with the scene, and I can definitely believe it. Just she doesn't seem like the person holding the conversation, or if you watch her speeches or her interviews, she doesn't seem like the person to have maybe made all these milestones. She's a very pretty woman. I give that to her.
Beautiful.
Maybe she does, yeah, very pretty. Maybe she just doesn't articulate well, but I mean, I believe it. What about you, Mr. Gray?
With Donald Trump and her running against each other, both of their dirty laundry is just completely out there. So basically, it seems like Kamala Harris is being accused of prostituting, and Trump accused of playing prostitutes. So it seems like we need to change the name of these two people going against each other. But with me, I mean, I don't want to comment and say, who she messed around with, because if we get famous, I want nobody being like, oh, yeah, Gray, he did.
No.
He did this.
Tell the truth and shame the devil. I've never been given a position for sleeping with anyone ever in my career. And I've worked hard to get to where I'm at. So I can say these things. And what you do in your personal life is one thing, but what you do on American taxpaying dollars is another. And she definitely used American taxpaying dollars to sleep her way to the top, allegedly.
So you said that he took money from his personal salary? You said
Well, let me tell you allegedly what happened. Brown, who at the time was the Speaker of the California Assembly, and Harris dated when she was a prosecutor in the Alameda County District Attorney's Office. The relationship began in 1994 and ended sometime allegedly the next year. According to reports, Brown was separated from his wife at the time when he and Harris dated. As Speaker, Brown doled out patronage positions to political aides, including Harris, who was named to 2 board positions that paid lucrative salaries. She was making what's the equivalent to $200,000 at 28 years old in 92 because of him.
Wow.
Okay. So, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, but I'm not going to hate on her for, using what she got to get what she want, the Players Club quote. But, I mean, hey, it is what it is. I mean, D. White, how do you feel about somebody getting a job off of a relationship, whether it's platonic or casual or romantic?
I mean, if my tax dollars aren't paying for it, I wouldn't care. But I think because it's, when we're dealing with government positions, that's things that we need people to be based on merit. We need the most qualified person for the job, not the prettiest person or not the person who does the extracurricular activities. You know what I mean? So I kind of have allegedly I have a problem with that. Now if you give your brother a job, you give your friend a job at your personal business, that's something different. But when tax dollars are involved, I think that we need to get rid of all this foolishness, because it makes no sense.
Oh, there's more to the story, by the way. This is just half of it. After Brown stayed in the California Assembly, he was elected mayor in San Francisco in 96. Harris eventually rose to become San Francisco's district attorney. In 2011, she was elected California Attorney General, a role she filled until 2017. And allegedly, Mr. Brown was so influential. He was behind a lot of big names that we see in California politics, including Nancy Pelosi, Gavin Newsom, and Kamala Harris. So,
but with the DA, that's you vote for the DA, right? I'm not sure.
Right, but he put her in positions to give her influence to get funding, get donors to become the DA.
Yeah, so if she's hanging out, if she's already hanging out with the mayor and all the other big wigs, right, I'm sure that she's going to be signed in a favorable light.
So do you feel like Nancy Pelosi slept with him too?
No, Nancy Pelosi was influential. She came from an influential family. Gavin Newsom came from money too. So like that's what they have in common versus Kamala Harris.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is big, guys. I mean, I didn't know this, and I will tell you in my research of this video today, I spent hours finding clips and they buried all this stuff. This is very hard to find at this point. It was a lot easier to find in 2019, 2020 when the DNC was against her. But now that they want her as the front runner, you can't find any of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also looked for a few clips and couldn't find them.
Yeah. Well,
I heard about that, and I heard about the Montel Williams thing.
Oh, well, you brought me into the next clip. Here, Montel Williams and her on a date.
Red carpet event in Los Angeles while Harris was working for the attorney's office in San Francisco almost 20 years ago. Montel previously confirmed speculation about their past connection in August 2019. He tweeted at the time, "Kamala Harris and I briefly dated about 20 years ago when we were both single. So what? I have great respect for Senator Harris. I have to wonder if the same stories about her dating history would have been written if she were a male candidate." With the story trending again in 2020, the TV personality took the opportunity to call for the release of Marine veteran Trevor Reed.
So, I mean, I really don't care that she dated him. That to me is not like the biggest thing here. Like, I honestly really don't care about that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think
that's an interesting question. Versus male versus female. So if there was a guy that slept his way to the top, would he be attacked like this?
That doesn't happen.
Oh, you do?
Yes, because it doesn't happen.
Yes, he would.
Yeah.
So you really think it's not a double standard? Like, so if like say I got with AOC and then all of a sudden I get a senator position, are people gonna be like, oh, he slept his way to the top, or they gonna be like, oh, he hit AOC and he a senator? That boy balling.
I think you're right, Greg. You bring up a good point. You're right. It is kind of sexist. But at the end of the day, we're not voting for you to be president. We're voting for her, the highest position in the land.
I mean, I definitely think you shouldn't sleep your way to the president office. But, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say she has the greatest record, especially as a judge. And she didn't do it. She really wasn't on the scene as VP. So that's what's hurting.
Oh, well, that video is coming tomorrow. So the next clip that we have is Kamala Harris' character and what she did to this poor guy in her district when she was a prosecutor. Kamala Harris wrongfully arrested this man, and due to that, he spent 7 years, or prosecuted this man, and due to that, he spent 7 years in prison and won a $13 million lawsuit. This is just one of many stories that I've heard of over the weeks researching and investigating for this. Dee, what do you think, and what have you learned as well?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, Kamala is the type of person who does whatever she needs to do to fit around the people who she's trying to impress today's flavor, whoever that is. Like you said, her as a senator, she sounds totally different, polar opposite from what she was as the AG. Now she's all about, getting along and coming together and truth, and we must overcome what's been burdened by what has become, whatever she keeps saying over and over. Yeah, the ridiculous quotes. She locked up over 1,500 people for smoking weed. Then went on, did an interview, laughed and joked about when she smoked weed. She had innocent people arrested. She had proof that could have freed them, and she held the proof until the Supreme Court made her turn it over. And once Black people wake up and realize who Kamala really is, I think she's going to stand no chance. Everybody's so hyped up right now because she's brown skinned that they're sticking beside her, because we love people of our complexion in powerful places, even though she already specifically said that she can do nothing for Black people. She can't write any laws or pass any bills just for Black people. But her administration passed laws for the transgender people. Her administration passed laws for
The
the
illegal immigrants.
Stop Asian Hate bill that and the immigrants. Immigrants are living better than a lot of Americans right now. They get free food, free housing, free transportation, all that type of stuff. But she already told us that she will pass no bills for specifically Black people.
Greg?
So this guy, he got $13 million for being wrongly convicted.
Yes.
Of what?
Murder.
Murder. Okay, wow. That's a big thing. I mean, I don't know the evidence in the case of why he was accused of this, but he definitely deserves the money that he got. I mean, she's not the police. I mean, she's just the DA. So I'm just saying, like,
She chooses what to prosecute. In fact, in my research, what I found out that she was doing is she was throwing out certain cases so her conviction rate would look higher. Then she was prosecuting certain cases when her arrests were being low, just so it looked like, well, our cases aren't down. We're gonna prosecute everything.
So you're saying she wanted to look like she had a better winning rate when she went to court?
Correct.
Yes, a winning record. It's one of the better record.
So she could run for office?
Correct.
Well, then if she did that, then that's obviously some kind of crime or manipulation or something, a conspiracy.
That's not the only thing that she did. She arrested and detained Black mothers for truancy. Can I play the next clip?
Yeah, go ahead.
My regret is that I have now heard stories that where in some jurisdictions DAs have criminalized the parents. Right. And I regret that has happened, and that the thought that anything that I did could have led to that, because that certainly was not the intent. So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy. Well, this was a little controversial in San Francisco.
Give their parents the resources, hold the school districts accountable. Why aren't the school districts raising the alarm and putting all the resources possible into getting these kids to school every day? And as a result of our initiative, first of all, nobody went to jail.
This is a parent of someone that went to jail.
If it doesn't improve, and if we see the kid back in the system, then the penalty goes up and would likely result in that parent being sent to jail. I regret.
Greg?
Being a parent myself, and I've had a child. She's very young. She's probably like 8 or 9, but when she was younger, she got kicked out of school twice. So I think prosecuting a parent for anything a child does is absurd. Because, I mean, you could be the best parent in the world. Sometimes a kid just going to do whatever they want to do. So as far as her putting people in jail for the kids skipping school, somebody that's working a 9 to 5, probably living paycheck to paycheck, that's horrendous. But I think there needs to be a law change in all of California, if that's even possible anywhere in the United States.
She changed the law. She made it so it's possible to happen.
She made it where that can happen?
Yes.
Well, that needs to change. That needs to change immediately.
This is who you want over the entire country. Not you, but the DNC, the powers that be.
I mean, that's like, I don't want to get into a debate about that because of what Republicans want with the police to have immunity. So I don't want to get into that debate. But as far as Kamala Harris directly, school truancy, no parent should be prosecuted for that. That, especially depending on the age of the child. Like, if the child's young, it should be like a CPS issue. What do you think, D. White?
I think her going and making that statement saying that, I was unaware of what was going on and parents were going to jail. I think that is way worse than what she actually did, because in that clip she played herself as the victim, or I changed some laws and I was unaware that other prosecutors were arresting the parents for this. But then you go back to when she made the law, and she stated that she wanted to lock the parents up for it, and then she went back and lied. She's the same person who told us for 3 years Joe Biden is sharp as a tack. I can barely keep up with him. He's so full of energy. This woman's a liar. She's a liar.
Big time.
She will lie directly to your face and then get upset when you catch her in her lie. And I mean that's a problem. That's not someone who I want anywhere near the nuclear codes. Personally, I wouldn't want her anywhere near. What about you, Ms. Moore? What do you think?
Well, I'm going to let the next clip speak for itself. Let's watch Kamala being dragged by Tulsi Gabbard on her record.
The broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
Position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives. You did not, and worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that, and the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator Harris.
My entire career, I have been personally opposed to the death penalty, and that has never changed. And I dare anybody who is in a position to make that decision, to face the people I have faced, to say, I will not seek the death penalty. That is my background. That is my work. I am proud of it. I think you can judge people by when they are under fire, and it's not about some fancy opinion on a stage, but when they're in the position to actually make a decision, what do they do? When I was in the position of having to decide whether or not to seek a death penalty on cases I prosecuted.
She's a liar.
Ridiculous.
She's a liar. It's
Big
terrible.
time. And she's the worst kind. She gets flustered. You can tell when she's about to spew a lie out her mouth. Gray?
Well, for me, I mean, I think this video actually, which is crazy, will appeal to Republican voters that she locked Black men up, she put people in jail, had them doing work labor, which is, I'm talking about if she was what she did. I mean, obviously, I don't think they're going to say Kamala Harris, but what she's being accused of. But I had a question on the last clip, did she create the law, or was that just a law in the books that she said, oh, we can use this against people for school truancy?
She created the law.
How did she create it? Was she a senator or a DA?
She was a district attorney at the time.
She's the attorney general for California.
So, okay. Well, her as a prosecutor and her going
can I read you about it to answer your question?
Yeah.
It was passed in 2011. The law allowed district attorneys to charge parents with a misdemeanor if their children miss 10% of the school year without a valid reason.
Okay, so she basically, it was passed before, but she started using it on people.
No, she passed it.
She can't pass it, can she?
She was behind it. She was behind pushing for it.
Okay, so she was the person saying that this needs to happen. Okay,
correct.
I'm just saying so the viewers will be like, oh, y'all said she did this, is that. But yeah, she, especially with the Black community, just being a prosecutor in general, she's gonna have a lot of backlash for that. I mean, you put people in jail. Sometimes, I'm pretty sure a lot of people that in San Francisco, it was the worst day of their life, and she was the person that said, hey, I want this to happen to this person. So what do you think, D. White?
I think I made my point very clear. I am definitely team anti-Kamala. You know, the fact that she goes up on stage and lies time and time again is terrible. I just can't wait till she's exposed for the liar and the fraud that she is.
Exactly.
She's very incompetent. They gave her 2 jobs. She was supposed to be the border czar. The border is in probably worse condition than when she found it. I don't even know how that's possible. Go ahead.
You bring up a good point of the next video. Let's see what she has to say on the border and the job that she did when she was questioned.
I've said I'm going to go to the border. And when are you going to the border, Vice President? The administration has asked. I'm not finished. I've said I'm going to the border. And also, if we are going to deal with the problems at the border, we have to deal with the problems that cause people to go to the border, to flee to the border. And that is the root causes. So my first trip as Vice President of the United States was to go, in terms of a foreign trip, to Guatemala, to be on the ground there, to address and to be informed of the root causes. Why are the people of Guatemala leaving? Do you have a date?
¿Tiene una fecha para su viaje a la frontera para ver la situación con sus propios ojos?
I will keep you posted.
In fact, I don't think she ever went to the border. She never went to the border.
Was she the Vice President of Guatemala or the Vice President of America? Because I'm confused. Yeah, your job is to secure the border. You do not have to go to Guatemala to secure our border. That's a nonsense answer.
Right. I think she'll be able to use Joe Biden's executive order when they get to the debate. But I will point out with Kamala Harris, what I always think her personality is just so abrasive. She's just so
rude,
unlikable as a person. And that's like what I see in those two videos. That it's just like your personality, people just aren't gonna like you. Like I think she's had some PR training since then, but the 2020 Kamala Harris, that was the biggest thing, is that she's just unlikable. She needs to fix that.
Well, let's watch the border failure and remind our viewers on how much of a flop it was.
Texas leaders often refer to Kamala Harris as the border czar. That stems from her 2021 assignment to address the root causes of migration. She was directed to oversee diplomatic efforts with other nations and help enhance enforcement at their borders.
Well, obviously, the Republicans are going to make a great issue out of that you were in charge of the border. Look what you did, and not in a good way. So that could be a negative for her. There's no question about that.
And in the last 24 hours since her campaign launch, we've already seen it. Governor Greg Abbott posting on X saying, quote, "The border czar has been an utter failure. And if she's elected, quote, I think I will need to triple the border wall, razor wire barriers, and National Guard on the border." The White House says Biden and Harris have secured more than $5 billion since 2021, going toward addressing economic issues in Central America, which is a key factor in why those residents migrate to the U.S.
She could turn around and say,
again, are you the Vice President of the United States or of Guatemala and Central America?
Yeah, and they're trying to figure out why the illegals are coming here, which is so stupid. It's obvious why they're coming here, because
they're allowed in.
They get free money, they get housing, they get daycare, they get free food. Why would you not come? Why would you not come? It makes no sense. What a stupid. That's so dumb. Her job to figure out why they're coming, because you guys give them all the free stuff. That's why they're coming. If I was there, I'd come too.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead. I mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, sorry.
Yeah, I think what she's gonna say is like, "Oh, we're gonna try to help them economically and the people over there, so fix their country. So because America is the #1 economy, we should be helping people so they don't feel the need to like rush and leave their countries." But I think Kamala is going to be able to articulate Joe Biden's executive order dropping border crossings by 40% way better than Joe Biden. I think that as far as the debate and the way she talks and the aggression, I think she's going to have a way better combat strength against Donald Trump and be able to explain the actual statistics, because she seems to be very intelligent. And this, I think, was a winning topic with what the Republicans did with the House Republicans. What about you, Nora?
I think that the border hurts Black Americans. Black Americans that are watching this, I'm giving you an empathic plea. Please open your mind, open your ears, open your hearts, open your eyes to what's going on. They are allowing in millions of people to replace you and replace your jobs and take your jobs. She has not done one thing for Black people other than them giving us Juneteenth. And that doesn't even benefit just Black people. It benefits the entire country.
Correct.
Please don't fall into the trap. I feel like this is a repeat of 2020, this time on steroids with Kamala Harris. They're going to bring Beyonce. They're going to bring all these stars to the DNC to tell you to vote for these people. And they're going to forget about you in about 2 seconds after November 5th.
Correct. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I can't wait to see the guest list to the DNC. There's going to be.
Oh, it's already going to be Beyonce. She's already given her permission to use her song Freedom on the road. So, and I predicted this. I had a text with a family member. I said, they're going to bring Beyonce in. Sure enough, they announced today that Beyonce is going to be using her song.
Mm-hmm.
She's an AKA too, right? She's part of sorority.
Yeah.
Yes, and regular Black people, open your mind and open your ears. The Black elite who are connected with these sororities and fraternities, and no shade to any sorority and fraternity people. So I already know the hate's going to be coming. I really don't care. Please do not allow them to get this hype up. Yes, it's great. We have the first Black female nominee, but how many years did it take? And it only took Joe Biden literally on his deathbed for them to do this. Why didn't they do this before? Because they know Kamala Harris is problematic.
Yeah, they should. I would feel slighted as a Black female or African American female that that this is who you guys pick out of all the viable candidates in the world. This is who you pick. She was not nominated by anybody besides the DNC. She received
not one
no
vote.
No,
she got 1% when she ran in 2020. People, 1% support,
and was the first candidate out. First one out.
First one out. You know why? Because another thing, please research. She ran a horrible campaign. She treated her staff like crap. There's
a clip going around. I don't know if you have it, but it's Jasmine Crockett from Texas. And she's basically saying that the Democrats, when they found out it was Kamala, they was like, no, it can't be her. It can't be her. It can't be her. And so, I mean, I think all around the Democrat Party, I was one of the people saying, no, it can't be her because she would be the last.
This is a Black woman, right? Crockett?
Yeah, I don't know if you have it, but
Jasmine. Her name is Jasmine.
Yeah, you seen it too, D. White?
Yeah. I know you're talking about.
Yes, who argued with MTG? Who argued with Marjorie Taylor Greene? Her. Nor are you there? Oh, she might be pulling it up. But she went on CNN and she basically said that the Democrats are saying no, it can't be her. They don't feel like she can win, and they don't. I don't think they necessarily want her to be the nominee. I think that they're just kind of their hands are tied.
Yeah, I agree with that, Mr. Gray. I think that they're stuck. Yeah. And this is all they have left. We already seen one. I'm not saying that a woman can't win, but we've seen what happened with Hillary Clinton, and she was liked. She was liked by people. You know, people liked Hillary, and she still lost to Trump. So the fact that they think that Kamala, who's not liked by anybody except for a few Black people, I don't think she stands a chance at all. The only leverage that she has now is that every time Trump attacks her, she gets to say, "Oh, he's racist. Oh, he's misogynist. All that stuff."
Right. Well, it looks like me and D. White closing out this time. We lost Nora. Like, share, and subscribe. Anything to say, D. White?
Yeah, always vote. Always vote. Stay informed and vote.
For sure. All right.
All
right, D. Just y'all know shows.
Uh-oh. I feel like dying. Okay, well, I'm on camera, so.
Do you feel any air?
No, go check.
Oh, okay. So that's what I thought.
I hit it to stop it. You hit stop.